My name is Mitchell Lean. I'm Director of Franchise Development with Buddy's Home Furnishings, and we're here today with William and Stacey Hodge. Feel free to talk a little bit about y'all's background and y'all's experience.
Okay. We've been together, married for 20 years now, and we started out in the restaurant business in 2008, and we have 26 restaurants now. We were just looking to diversify and get into something different, and that's why we came to Buddy's.
So, power couple here.
Yes.
How's it working with your husband?
It's interesting. It's never boring, for sure. We love it. We work good together. We balance each other out.
Restaurant operators, restaurant owners, what made you look to diversify and look for something like Buddy's?
Just because what's going on right now in the employment situation, and the fact that I've done it since I was 14 years old. So now, basically 34 years later, it was time to get into something besides just restaurants. So we were looking at different things to try to see what interests us, and what brought me to it was the fact when I called and spoke with you, you said there was only 22 franchisees at the time. So that's what piqued my interest. So it's like this.
How many? And I didn't mean to cut you off, but how many employees do you hire for a restaurant?
A new store, we will hire anywhere from 60 to 90 people for a new store.
So when I told you that you only needed 5 employees to start a Buddy's,
we were sold.
That's what sold me. When he come home and told me, that's what sold me. Only 5 employees.
Something about the rent-to-own industry, whether it's a pandemic or a recession, it continues to grow. Some things that you've dealt with in the restaurant industry, what are some things you can relate to, and what are some of those things that I mentioned that makes you interested in Buddy's?
The restaurant, I mean, from when the pandemic happened and we got shut down, we obviously had to regroup at that time and say, okay, what are we going to do? How do we continue to operate? We employ over 1,000 employees at our restaurant group. So, when you got 1,000 people that you're responsible for and you're feeding, and as far as taking care of their weekly paychecks and so forth, when it happened, it was a little scary. So that was the one thing for me was, how do we diversify from that and from trying to come out of something as strong as the pandemic? And that's why we started looking for something different.
And we just opened our first store on Friday, so congratulations. What are some of the things that, through this process, that Buddy supported you, that helped you open and give you the confidence to open your first store?
Oh, the support was unreal, honestly. I mean, we got support from day one as far as picking the location, as far as once we had found the location, Josh stepped right in. He looked at it, gave us his approval, worked with us on the lease and part of it. But everybody that we dealt with his Buddies was very supportive. We never had, at no point in time was we ever frustrated or anything to where we felt like we were on our own. Even all the way up to open the store with our franchise consultant. Rufus was in there. He was leading us and guiding us, and thank God for Rufus, because we would have been in trouble. So.
And he was in the store Friday and Saturday, both days of opening.
He
correct?
was, yes. And he was in there basically 3 weeks prior. He was there, not every day, but he was leading us and setting us up for success, and did a tremendous job.
So as you've opened restaurants, and I'm gonna tee this one up for you, you've probably come up with y'all's own operation manual or Bible. You've created one. It's probably ever changing, and I can tell there's some years built into this playbook that y'all have. So the fact that when you became a franchisee and there was a very big playbook with trials and tribulations and experiences, talk a little bit about the importance of that for y'all.
Well, for me, it's just the not having to go through all the trials and the tribulations that you go through when you're creating it, because it's hard when you're going through that and you're figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and to have something there that's already been proven and it's a proven concept, and you also have the support with that, it's night and day. It was an easy choice for me.
Yeah. It could also be expensive.
Expensive to learn?
Expensive to learn. The trial and error part of it is very expensive. That's the hard part. I mean, and that's the part when you're going out spending the money and you don't know if it's going to work or not. So, being a Buddy franchise, you've already done it. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just picking up and carrying on what you guys have already done. And that's the one thing that I did like about this. So, because some of the things that I've seen that I said, well, the guys have brought to me and said, hey, well, can we do this? This is not how Buddy's does it. So we're going to do it their way. So we're not here to reinvent the wheel.
So when you got your 350-page manual, what'd you think?
It's overwhelming. In the beginning, it's like, okay, do I really need all this to have a rental store? But you learn through the process. Yeah, you do. There's a lot there. You don't think about all the back end stuff that goes into it. You just see the furniture on the floor, but the back end side of it, there's dealing with the customer and interacting and building that relationship and learning what it's about. You're taught that in the rental store business, you're just renting furniture, but the first thing that we realized when we went and towards some stores was the relationship and trying to build a relationship with people. And it wasn't just about selling a couch or a chair, it was about building a relationship. And that's, for us, that's very important because you do want that relationship.
Relationships matter, especially in the restaurant business as well as rent to own. And I think that's something that y'all have picked up on early and y'all have been very good at, is understanding that they're a customer coming in and renting a product from you on a monthly, bi-monthly, and weekly basis. But if you get to know them, you get to know their family, and you get ingrained in their family, they become a part of your family, and the relationship grows.
And you generally shop where you feel comfortable and where you have a relationship with. So whether it's gas or groceries, whatever, you generally go to the same places because that's where you feel comfortable going there. And that's what I've told these guys is we've got to build that relationship with these customers. And our guys are bought into it. They really have. They've experienced it in training, and now they're bought into it now. So we feel like we've got the foundation laid for a very successful future with Buddy's.